tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote tuimbe pamoja, kuenzi shikamano hatima yetu. Tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika. Chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us make Africa the tree of life. My name is Kato Mukasa, and of course, this is Humanist TV Africa, where we come here and share ideas, and then we listen to you, and you listen to us, and we help shape each other towards development. Humanist TV Africa is a registered organization, a charity, non-profit organization that is here to empower each other, to promote education, to promote rationalism and of course critical thinking, and to help build one community at a time by empowering people, inspiring people, motivating people, and of course making it happen as it should be in this epoch. Now, today I want to encourage you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Humanist TV Africa. Please do subscribe when you watch this show. Please do subscribe and be able to check our previous shows. We have over 400 shows as I speak today, which are quite good, very educational, very informative, and some of them are very entertaining. We do think that once you watch our shows, you'll be able to follow and you'll be able to advise, you'll be able to also educate others. We are encouraging you to write to us at info. Our email is info@humanistv.africa, and our WhatsApp number is right here there on our screen. Our communication officer and of course our spokesperson, Brian Kabeko, based in Kenya, will be able to respond to all your queries. At the moment, we are looking for volunteers all over the world. Wherever you are, we are opening up more studios in your countries. we are looking for volunteers. This is a worldwide network we are building. So be part of the progress, be part of the success, be part of the foundation. Join us and be part of Humanist TV Africa. We have studios in Kenya, studios in Uganda, studios in Zimbabwe, Zambia. We have studios in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and UK and USA. And we're opening up more studios today. I'm talking about Africa. And how do we develop Africa? How Africa can use its rural areas for development. How Africa can use its rural areas for development. Brian is going to edit that. How Africa can use its rural areas for development. Now, I need to start from this angle that Africa basically is so big a continent that basically we are not given the right picture of the size of Africa. I've told you that Africa has much bigger size than China, 3 times bigger than Russia, and of course, it is much bigger than what you can imagine. I've been able to indicate the land size of Africa right there in 30 million square miles, 30 million kilometers, and of course, 11 square miles, million square miles, which is quite a big piece of land. And much of Africa, 60% of Africa's land is basically available for agriculture. The land is arable land, therefore meaning that it is good for agriculture. But I'm telling you, much of this land has been underutilized. Now, this is the crux of this show. Many of us are living in the cities of Africa. We call them cities, I call them slums. We are living in very big slums, a bit improved in Africa. And we have left our lands in the villages. We have left our lands in the villages. We have sold our pieces of land to investors who are coming in to take use of our land and develop, get profits, and get back to their countries and become richer. Now, Africa, as I'm going to be showing you, some of the countries we have selected, I'm going to be showing you, and you have a look at how these countries look in the rural areas. Remember, our rural areas are underdeveloped. Our rural areas are open for farming, open for industries, open for factories, open for development. The vast piece of lands in Africa, which are free, which are open, which are virgin. We have lands that haven't been utilized, lands unused. I'm going to be showing you vast pieces of land in rural Africa. I'm going to show you the houses we have in much of rural Africa. You will see that with such kind of houses we have, our hearts, our amiable, our modest environment in Africa, our houses, our hearts, tell it all that we are not utilizing these lands. They're still open for development. So this is the show to encourage you to say, why not think about doing something back home? If you left your piece of land and you're in the city, how about investing part of your savings back home into agriculture? Today I want to inspire you to think about using your land in the village, because this land is available. And this land can make you an extra income. Food in Europe is very expensive, but much of the food in the UK, I should tell you, the food which I buy, I should tell you, comes from different parts of the world, and much of it is coming from Africa. It means that Africa's food is available for the rest of the world. Now, if you can utilize this food in Africa, you are going to make Africa a better place for all of us. Remember, Africa has the best environment in the world. We have 12 months going for us. We can do something productive in 12 months. In many countries in Europe, there are months which are practically not very productive, if you can ask me, because the sunshine is almost not there. The weather is very harsh. The winter, the snow falling, the winds, strong winds hitting people here and there. Now, you find that the temperature in these countries the weather in these countries is a bit harsh. Yet these countries have been able to develop despite having one season of production in terms of agriculture. Yet Africa, with 2 seasons of production, we still lack food. Why? Majority of young people are into towns. They have left the villages. They have left their lands unattended to. Brian, let us look at rural Africa, and then we continue conversing how we can utilize it. Make it very fast. I won't stop to mention any country. That is Namibia. Namibia, quite a very beautiful country. Quite very beautiful country with water bodies open to the sea. That is Malawi. Malawi, look at villages in Malawi. And the question is there development? If you look at those houses, fertile land, open lands, amiable structures. Look at Burundi. One of the fertile soils in Africa is found in Burundi. I've been there, and Burundi is a very fertile country. Look at Ivory Coast. Now look at these structures, humble structures, to show you what? That there's no development going on in these areas. Now, tea farming in Kenya, I've been to Kenya, Kericho area and others, and of course they have vast pieces of land which they can actually utilize for all these kind of things. Look at Zambia, and how Zambia is open for development. This is rural Zambia. You can see the structures. Why do I show you these photos? Look at Zimbabwe. You can see the structures. It shows you that young people have left their rural areas. Look at Zimbabwe, the rural areas of Zimbabwe, and ask yourself, what are the guys in Zimbabwe doing to develop these areas? Look at Ethiopia, rural Ethiopia. I was in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has vast pieces of land unutilized, and there are so many Chinese powering in Ethiopia as I speak, which means they're going to be using these lands. Look at Zimbabwe again, the structures, the homestead, our homestead, traditional homestead. You may find that this is one family, 1 man, 2 wives, 1 man, 3 wives. Good pieces of land there, properly underutilized. The land in Africa, look at Tanzania. I was in Tanzania. Tanzania is so big. Tanzania is 3 times bigger than Uganda. Uganda is so small. Tanzania is so big. But I should tell you, much of Tanzania's land is underutilized. Look at Gambia. Look at the structures in Gambia. And tell me if that is a sign of development. Why? People have left these areas to go to town. They're underdeveloped and the land is there. Look at Rwanda. I was in Rwanda. Rwanda is a small country, but I should tell you, Rwanda still has lots of free land, lots of unutilized land. If you're in Rwanda, I'm calling upon you, please consider using that land. Look at Angola. Look at the structures in Angola. Look at the structures in rural Angola. Structures in rural areas of Angola. Huts completed. Now look at Rwanda here. They are utilizing this village. I found this photo very interesting, that this village is becoming a production center there in Rwanda. Now Rwanda is utilizing their villages. But look at Zimbabwe. Look at this setting in Zimbabwe. Look at the houses. I'm showing you signs of underdevelopment in rural Africa. And I'm showing you that there's chance people to go there and make use of this land. Of course, this is Morocco here. Much of it is partly sand, but still, even with the sand there, people are using Morocco for tourism. Look at Mali. Look at the structures in rural Mali. A sample of structures in rural Mali. And ask yourself, is there development in this part of the world? The answer is no. Look at Lesotho. Down there in South Africa. The huts. This is much of traditional kind of regalia. It's a legacy people are preserving, but I'm showing you that our houses in the villages in much of rural Africa have not changed. Look at Guinea-Bissau. Look at Guinea-Bissau. A snapshot to show you village life in Guinea-Bissau. Now, if you have a village like this, in such kind of land, look at Mozambique. Look at Mozambique. Land is there, Land is unutilized. Structures simply show you that the poor there are poor and less productive. Look at Uganda. This is my land. This is my country, Uganda. And look at rural Uganda. Look at Eswatini. Eswatini, which is also part of South Africa down there in that sub-region. And you look at the vast pieces of land there and then the poor structures right there, which means that land is not utilized. Look at Togo. Look at rural Togo. If you're from Togo, I'm asking you, what are you doing to develop your land? Your land in Togo. Look at Zimbabwe. Look at that piece of land. Before you fight against colonialism, before you fight against settlers, how have you used your land? Look at Senegal. Look at rural Senegal. Look at the poor structures in the rural areas and ask yourself, how are Africans using their rural areas? Look at Kenya in their rural areas. And ask yourself a question, why should we be having these structures there? We need to be improving these areas. We need to be putting their infrastructure, putting their crops, putting their things that can bring in money. And then the place develops. Now, this is Ethiopia, rural Ethiopia. Now, you look at Ethiopia, very beautiful country, but it has vast free land. Look at Tanzania. Now, look at those structures and the pieces of land which are there underutilized. Now, in other countries, you'll find that here all covered with agriculture, all covered with products, crops, trees, and they're getting money out of the land. I'm saying Africa has 60% of their land unutilized. In Kenya, of course, Kericho and other areas have been known for utilizing their land. I'm showing you how some parts of Africa are utilizing their vast free lands. This is coffee in Ethiopia. They're utilizing that land to do a bit of coffee in Ethiopia. And I'm encouraging people, especially people in diaspora. If you're watching this video in diaspora, go to, this is actually Somalia. I should surprise that this is rural Somalia. People are actually digging. I should surprise that this is a photo from rural Somalia. And people are doing some bit of digging and farming. KwaZulu Natal, South Africa, you can look at that image and shows you that despite people complaining for land, still much of the land remains underutilized. Now, this is HTV Africa, TV Africa calling upon you to please use this land. The map here shows you how big Africa is. That Africa fits China, fits Japan, fits India, fits contiguous US, and still Africa will remain. That is how big Africa is. That is how big Africa is. That Africa is so big that with 30.1 million kilometers, which is 11.7 million square miles of Africa, remain underutilized. Africa, so big, with that kind of vast area, we would be using Africa to be the food basket of the world with 30.37 million kilometers underutilized. Africa is so big. Africa is so rich. Why are we not developing our Africa when we are blessed with such big pieces of land? Thank you so much, Brian. This show was to motivate people in Africa, but also people in the diaspora to think about investing back home. I'm calling upon people in the diaspora to tell them, look, we have land. We have land. Why do we not invest back home? We have land. If you have some money, think about your pieces of land in rural Africa, and please go back, send some money back in Africa, and please let us develop this land. This is the only way we are going to create jobs for people in Africa. It's the only way we're going to have stable income in our pockets. As people coming from Africa with such a rich background of land and better environment. This show was to motivate you to tell you that Africa is not dying. Africa is rich with the best environment. Africa is rich with the best soils. Let us utilize our environment. Let us utilize our rich soils and shall develop one village at a time. This is Humanist TV Africa. I'm encouraging you to please subscribe and be part of a network that is there to improve on the lives of people in Africa. See you in the next one. Remember, subscribe. Human TV Africa is there for you. See you in the next one.